So I am like to a man of God who the Creator gave wisdom to and whose life was made eternally perfect thereby. What I'm telling you all is the truth, okay? What happened was that it's actually happening right now where it's a C period in the daily periods of the cycles of life. It's a positive short lunar unit and a positive long lunar unit. And I'm in the second annual life cycle period in the sixth simple overall period of human life. And I have an overview of my soul personality as I speak, right? And right now, more specifically, though, it's a double positive lunar unit. So there's a very positive, life giving, and positively increasing general state of existence within creation and the universe and earth, heaven, and earth plane and human life activity right now. And the wisdom that is being revealed to me right now is so magnificent. It is so precious and so absolutely beautiful and so valuable too that I just decided to start recording this as a vlog to document this information because I could write it on paper now. It's actually more intensive to write on paper because I'll be thinking about how to keep my handwriting perfect as a perfectionist and as a calligrapher. Whereas if I just talk now, I can document this and hold this and save this and utilize this and procure this and reserve this for future use. And also all of humanity can benefit from this. And what it is that the Creator is giving us massive amounts of really, really good wisdom and additional wisdom and like sageness, like sagesse in French, like sage, like a sage. You're becoming more and more of a sage by divine instruction right now. And what it is that the Creator is showing me systematically that so you know how as human beings we think about things, we think about different actions and decisions that we could, you know, create, things we could do and what the potential consequences could be, right? As human beings, we're occupied with maintaining safety and health and wealth and freedom and good life, right? On all levels, right? As much as possible. The Creator is showing me that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to fear anymore. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing that can go wrong in the future as long as you live with a basic amount of wisdom and self-discipline and you organize yourself and your life and your life's movements so that you make wise decisions where now, for example, if you're worrying about something that could happen in the future, you should know that everything can happen in the future absolutely perfectly. Your life can be made eternally perfect right now and forever because of how life is originally and universally programmed to be plus perfect. And being able to live your life so that it is automatically enabled or automatically able to be the way that it's supposed to be. And the way that this is accomplished is by living in harmony with the cycles of life. So, in other words, everything in life is actually perfect and it was made to be that way. And it actually is that way on the highest levels. It's like life itself is like the way that our life is, the quality of it can be compared to a machine that is running. And if it is allowed to sort of run the way it runs naturally, it runs perfectly and better, right? It produces the most magnificent results and so on. But if there's something bothering the operating mechanisms of the machine, then it causes it to operate or to malfunction, to not work exactly the way it was designed to, and it doesn't work out as good. This is what's going on with human life, where if we practically apply wisdom in our lives, even with a little bit of wisdom being practically applied, a little bit of standard self-discipline, right? A little bit of maintaining a watchful overview of the cycles of life we're in and living in harmony with them, making daily decisions with prudence, rather being a little bit too hesitant or prudent at times than overly um, quickly active. In other words, be a little bit prudent and it's better to be a little too prudent than too hasty with anything, okay? Now look, what I'm getting at here is that, listen, anything that you could worry about in terms of human life and what could happen in the future, it's natural and it's normal. We have a survival instinct based on our physical existence and the physical body and stuff. Intelligent, divine animal instincts as divine human beings, too, that have to do with future safety and these things, right? And life and health being maintained and increased. Everything can go perfectly in your life, even starting right this millisecond and beyond and forever. The key is you have to be, you have to be intelligently receptive to the divine guidance, God within, the cosmic mind, and the divine inspiration and instruction and guidance in illuminating, enlightening thoughts, ideas, and impulses that are coming. Like as I'm speaking right now, the things going through my mind are so brilliant that it is as if I documented these things and I used these things and I lived by them, I would live perfectly forever. Nothing could be a problem. There could be nothing that goes wrong. Why? Because of this. At the end of the day, the formula here is the following. You have to realize the fact that the future is not unknown. What will happen in the future is based on what you determine to happen right now by your wise actions. And the future is filled with the consequences of your wise actions and decisions that you make and take right now. So if you maintain self-discipline right now, and in the next couple of minutes, hours, days, months, years, etc., you keep that up, you always have this upkeep of a good life. Here's the thing. The key details are there's nothing that can go wrong because we're making the right thing happen in the first place. And yes, you have to have self-control. You have to be extremely self-disciplined, sometimes a tiny bit for a little tiny while, a maximum of, let's say, 3 hours at times. It's like the only difficult thing in life is to stop, take a deep breath, be patient, and zoom out, observe intelligently and wisely with wisdom, and actually see through it all, earth human life activity, and see why you feel, why you are, why it is how it is right now, based on the description of the life cycle periods you're in. And then you truly see things as they really are. And then you start to actually make decisions that lead to the accomplishment or just good objectives being accomplished, right? Now, the thing is that I was just thinking about, okay, well, so if I do this, this could happen. But so wait a second. But if I do this at this time, here's what'll happen at that time. Here's what'll happen at that time. It's like you can always plan things and live your life and make decisions so that everything always ultimately works really, really good and it gets better and better. And the key there too is to just have a little bit of self-discipline and maintain that. Now, I'm doing this as I speak. What I'm also doing is the following, and it is that the creator had showed to me that, like think about this. Any of the obstacles or anything that can go wrong in life, anything that's a threat to your health, your wealth, your freedom, your safety, or anybody's, first of all, zoom out, look at it from a distance, And we can already see when anything that is a danger is even possible in the first place beforehand. Then we can preemptively circumnavigate it. And even more so, we can make prudent and wise decisions right here and right now, all the time. And what happens is that everything becomes absolutely and increasingly super good and beautiful here and now, more and more, on and on, all the time. In other words, your complete and total life has now been made into an increasing state of really, really high level eternal goodness. This is true, okay? This is actually true. So, what the Creator was showing me was showing me that, okay, look. So I was thinking about doing something earlier, and then I thought, okay, well, if I do this, here's what can happen. And if this happens, what would I do later to preempt that? Okay. But then I was shown that, okay, do this tomorrow. If you do this tomorrow, it's a perfect time for that. Then it's a time for this. And then it's a time for that. And it's all coordinated. So you have to coordinate your life's movements and your decision making with wisdom by constantly maintaining a certain amount of self discipline and wisdom in all of your living and living in harmony with the cycles of life. You're permanently secure. You're always safe. Because as you're generating your life and your life situations sort of as you go, constantly shaping your destiny by your actions and decisions right now, you're always making the right ones right now that lead to a good right now, and a good right now, and a good right then and there and in the future, and the future is good, and so on. So that's actually how this works. Now, it's true. I'm a living example of this. Okay, I have maximum, benefits and good things here. I could show you the details, right, of this. Yet, what I say should be sufficient. So, the key point that was revealed was that, look, don't worry about the future. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing to worry about. Nothing can go wrong as long as you keep a certain amount of self-discipline in your life and you do what is wise in this moment. Okay? So now, look, if you worry about the future or you're afraid of something that could happen, you have to stop and realize that, listen, nothing is actually left to chance either. Nothing is left to chance either. Nothing is random. And what happens in the future, we can determine it by what we make happen with wisdom right now. So this equals permanent eternal security too, because we know that, okay, by doing this, taking this action based on this wise decision being made right now, we're actually creating a state in our life that is a result of, or that is like literally the consequences that manifest in a real life situation as a good result of our prudent and wise decisions that we made beforehand. So you're constantly producing a good destiny. Now, as this is one absolutely magnificent, it gets even better because what also happens is that things happen to be additionally blessed by something like a divine surprise mechanism. That's this eternal mechanism whereby the Creator makes everything even better all the time in our lives. So hold on to that for a second. Okay, so how to put this into simple, comprehensible terms, right? How do you actually automatically acquire? This is easier than it may seem. Listen, how do you automatically acquire something like eternal health, wealth, and safety, and increasingly very good life that really goes on like that forever? How do you acquire this? The key point is that it is actually in the here and now, and also a future event. So, as it may sound like we're working on a better future and maintaining a good future for ourselves, what we're actually doing is we're making this here and now good by wise self disciplined decision making, living actions, right? Especially your decision making. So what happens is that, like, you're making the right decisions in life that are wise. You're making wise decisions right now. And because of that, right now, the results, because of how destiny is current, it's going on right now. It's a real time manifested destiny that you were living. Destiny is right now because life automatically works a certain way. In fact, life is already working perfectly. We just have to adjust the way that we are living and resting and working with it. And then we're just simply carried safely by it. And it automatically just is magnificent and increasingly magnificent and blessed. That's what's actually going on. But see, look, how do you get it that way? You do have to adjust the way you're living and be prudent. So right now, it's a time for this, right? This is the life cycles you're in. This is the time for this. Aim to accomplish this. Therefore, you're generally safe. And what will then happen, as it always does, is everything will work even better. And that's how it always goes on and on. Now, while this is the case, you don't have to worry about the future because you know that things will at least be as good as they are, and more realistically, they will increasingly become even better and better continuously. That's actually how it works. And it takes clarity and moments of clear, divine, magical vision and truth to see these things sometimes. So, when is that? In the daily periods of the cycles of life of the daily period of C right now, on the Saturday evening at 10:48 p.m. Here's the thing. Another key that was given was that, look, there's interactions with other humans that are legit, whether it's the people you rent your house from, your business partners, your friends, your family, anybody. Any legit human interaction has to be governed by wisdom and prudence. And if it is, then it will only be good, and it keeps getting better and better. The key to this is that you actually have to go and you have to continuously and constantly check yourself to make sure that. So it's like, all right, if you as a human being were like an instrument, you're producing a certain music, okay, and this is in harmony and in tune with the great, beautiful song and symphony of life, okay? Everything is already programmed to be perfect, including the music that you make as an instrument, okay? Yet, from time to time, you sort of have to tune your instrument to make sure it's in tune with the greater tune. And so what that is that during the day you stop, sometimes you stop, okay, now this is the period we're entering into, this daily period, right? Every 3 hours, 25 minutes, they change. So you go into one new period. Okay, now is the time for the realization of great spiritual truths, right? That's what's happening right now. So I know, okay, this is what's happening, what I'm thinking, it's true because this is what the time it is for. This is what the time is for in creation right now. So I know that I'm in harmony with it. So you just have to exercise constant minimum amounts of self-prudence and discipline and wise self-discipline. It's easy. The rewards of this are massive. It may sound like it's difficult. It's not. It's easy. It's just like being someone who's playing an instrument, and every couple of, every couple minutes or hours, based on how much you exert force on the strings, you have to kind of stop and retune it for a second, and then it's in tune again, and it's perfect, right? Just like we have to check ourselves during the day and go, okay, what are the cycles of life now? Every 3 hours, my friends, you should check. And what you do is this. You just constantly adhere to the basic parameters of the description of the daily periods of the cycles of life and what they're good for. Even by doing that, you're permanently safe because here's the thing. It's like even no matter anything that happened or whatever could happen in life, moreover, while we can even make the right things happen in the first place, still, anything that could happen potentially, there's always a way to have mastery and have a positive and a divinely ordained and a legitimate tactical advantage and a benefit and a blessing and something that leads to your life being made even healthier and wealthier and better and more intelligent and wise and magnificent and mystical